And we are live. Alive.
Are we?
And well?
Possibly.
Perhaps.
Possibly.
Yeah, perhaps. Allegedly. Fuck. This is what I was talking about. Every time we got to get the ball rolling. That way we get, back in line with doing these recordings and stuff. But today is going to be a hitter for sure, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. This is episode 242, correct?
Yes,
and,
sir.
We have something grand in store. Oh, I'm actually like really. I mean, I always say I'm excited, but this one I am excited for. He just seems like someone easily to talk to, so that's why I'm so excited. It doesn't like set him apart from anybody or this or that or whatever, but I'm just saying I'm super excited because I feel like we can relate a lot to this fella.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
But welcome back to Durko's Podcast.
we're back, baby.
Damn, that's a little loud. My bad.
That was kind of like
My bad.
a rough start to an episode.
Yeah, we're fumbling the ball.
We're fucking starting late. We got our guy on standby here. We're trying to
Mosquitoes are flying around
fucking
here.
skaters, goddamn skaters flying about. Oh
But-
yeah, it's gonna be one of those episodes right now. So Joe and I are ready to take over the world. At this point, we got 2 cases of beer, cool down right here. Two packs of darts. Fucking a brain ready to fucking get after. Are you ready for this shit?
Yeah, sure.
right.
Why not?
Why not?
Let's do it.
On today's episode, we are calling in a comedian, and we're gonna learn about this fellow. But he's from Oklahoma, and his name is it Matt?
Yeah, it's Matt.
Matt Ferrell.
Matt Ferrell.
Ferrell, like just fucking rabid, But let's get Matt a call. We did not check fucking
Mosquitoes.
goddamn
Oh, at least it sounds good.
fucking skaters all about. Goddamn fucking hawks flying and shit. Fucking there's one right there. Oh, it'd be good if we did have a bug zapper,
Yeah.
like in the corner, still in the shot.
Hello.
What's going on, brother?
What's happening, guy?
Man, fucking being attacked by mosquitoes right now. Fucking skaters.
Damn.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you're having that kind of trouble up there. I mean, you're not even considered. I mean, you're north of us, right? But is that still considered the Midwest, right? Or what is that even considered?
Yeah. I think I'd always considered us to be in the South, but I guess we're actually considered Midwest.
Actually, I think we did look this up. You are considered in the South. So yeah, right on, brother. You're part of the merry men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for calling in on the Third Coast Podcast. I am Jacoby. I'm sitting here with the Gator himself, Joe.
What it do, bro?
Who
What's
you
up?
spoken to both of us today, man. So how you doing today, brother?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be twins.
Oh, goddamn. I mean, in what regard does that mean?
Well, I figure if I'm twins, it gives me twice opportunity to disappoint folks. So,
I always wondered about that. There's how people say like twins, they share that little fucking bit of telepathy and stuff like that. But if I had a twin, I would see how far I can go. If I had that girlfriend and she was fucking me over, I'm gonna just get her to fuck my brother.
hell yeah. Hell yeah. I like the way your vendetta mind works.
I'm about it, bro. So, Matt, let's go ahead and get this nipped in the butt real quick. Your last name is pronounced how?
Ferrell.
Just like a fucking feral rabbit,
Like
fucking cat, coon, whatever the fuck.
That's right.
I like it. I like it, man. So, can you give us a little bit of backstory of yourself, man?
Yeah. I'm a stand-up comic. I'm out of Oklahoma. I started doing comedy. I think it was like 11 or 12 years ago. So that's why people say, "Oh, you've been doing comedy for 11 or 12 years." Not really. I did comedy one big show right out of the gate, and then I spent the next year just trying to do shows when and where I could. So probably 6 shows over the course of the next year. And then my kids were at the age where they were very active, a lot of sports and stuff going on. My job at the time was really demanding. So I pretty much just put comedy on the back burner and didn't do it again until almost 3 years ago. So then the last 3 years, I really started hitting it hard. And then now it's all I do.
Oh, right on. As like that is your primary job, huh?
This is it. That's
That
all I
is-
do. Just go around trying to tell dick jokes and make people laugh.
That's right, baby. I like that a lot, man. So like, you're based out of which part of Oklahoma?
I'm in the Southwest. Closest big city to me is Lawton, Oklahoma, which is like 100,000. So it's not even a huge city. It's the third largest city in Oklahoma, I think. I don't know. One of the others might have snuck up there, but we got Tulsa and Oklahoma City, of course, are the two biggest cities that everybody knows. And then Lawton is the next city that's attached to Fort Sill military base. So that's probably the third most known city in the state.
Okay, how fucking big is Broken Bow?
Broken Bow's not very big. Broken Bow's like down in the southeast part of the state. It's in the mountains and in the hills. A lot of cabins, real touristy part, but it's still super rural. But they've made it very touristy by the cabin rentals and the getaway destinations.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because every time I've heard someone say Broken Bow, I was like, man, that sounds country as fuck. Like,
Yeah. So we have Broken Bow, which is in the southeast part of the state, and then we have Broken Arrow, which is up by it's a suburb of Tulsa. So we've got a bow and arrow, but both of them are fucking broken.
that's about right, man. So with like trying to get up and doing like a run and stuff, how far are you having to travel to get up and do a set and stuff?
There's not really anything. There wasn't anything close to me. So like if I wanted to do an open mic, I'd have to travel at least an hour and a half to Oklahoma City. Would be the closest open mic to me.
Okay.
But I've been doing it enough and kind of built my own reputation or a good enough reputation to where I had business reach out to me about wanting in a really, really small town that's real close to me. It's Apache, Oklahoma, which is like a population of like 5,000 or something. But they have a real cool restaurant bar downtown. And they said, hey, would you be interested in coming doing a comedy show? So I'll tell you what I'd like to do is I'll make it a once a month show and it'll be free. And basically it's just a place for me to go and work out my new material. And then I started inviting other comics like, hey, y'all can come and if you got new longer sets that you need to work out, you can come hop on this kind of private show that I put together for myself. And that's worked out pretty good for me. So now I don't have to travel real far to go work out new material. Because other than that, I would work out new material during shows. Like while I'd be doing a regular show, I'd slide a couple new jokes in there and just test them out and see how they went. That's just the way I always had to do it. But when I first got into it, I didn't know anything. So I didn't know about open mics. I didn't come from a comedy background. I had somebody kept encouraging me that I should do it. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll try it. But I just knew what I had seen on TV.
Right.
Which is, hey, they got this huge building. They sold a bunch of tickets and then they talked for an hour. So the very first show that I ever did, I rented a place in Lawton that sat 1,500. And I got it I went out and hustled up sponsors. Rented this place that seats 1,500 people. I got a couple other comics or a couple other guys who wanted to do comedy come and do it with me. And my first time ever on stage I did an hour.
Oh, wow.
And like I said, in a venue that seats 1,500, it's a huge auditorium. Obviously I didn't sell it out, but I sold 200 tickets to my first show.
That's pretty fucking
Excuse me.
solid.
Which is really good, except that 200 in a place that seats 1,500 still fucking empty. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it worked. I did enough to where everything paid for itself. But obviously that's not the right way to pursue comedy. I just didn't know any better, and then I just kept doing it like that from then on. Not in places as big, but I still didn't go to Oklahoma City to do open mics. I didn't travel to go get on other people's shows. I didn't know how to reach out to other comics. I didn't know hey, can you just give me a guest spot? I didn't know to reach out to people and ask those things. So I just started reaching out to clubs and bars and saying, hey, would you guys be interested in a comedy show? I'll sell tickets at the door, and whatever I make is what I make. And, if I don't sell any tickets, no harm, no foul. And I started getting places to let me do it like that. And then that's just the way I started. I didn't know any better.
Don't they do like a thing to where like you can also like split the bar if you host it as a free admittance? Don't they do something like that as well?
Yeah, some places will split they'll give you a percentage of the the food and beverage sales.
Right.
Like especially if they're not wanting to charge tickets at the door, they're wanting everybody to still be able to get in free. They'll just go, hey, you just come in and we'll give you 20% of whatever we sell that night. And so that way, if you get a bunch more people in, it's worth it to them to give up a percentage of their sales without them having to add an extra cost to their customer.
Right. And so that could be potentially like a very lucrative way of going about it too, right? For them filling you out and then you filling out a spot and shit like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's all kinds of ways to do it. I like doing door splits with places because that makes them just as invested in the number of people coming through the door as you are.
Right.
So now they've got some skin in the game as far as butts in seats. They're going to help you promote and push it harder. Whereas if it was just hey, whatever comes through the door, you get. Whatever we get in sales is what we get. They're not always as interested. Or if you pay them a flat rate, like, hey, I'm going to pay you $500 to let me use your place. And then you just hope you make your $500 back. Whereas if you're doing a door split, because they've already made their $500, they don't give a shit if anybody shows up or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you do it on a split with them, like, hey, I don't give you nothing, you don't give me nothing, but we'll split whatever comes through the door. Then everybody's money is dependent upon the number of people that come through. So,
yeah, and like word of mouth and things like that.
Yeah, sorry about the cough. I'm trying to keep it to a minimum.
Oh, it's all
you're
right.
good. You're good, brother. Y'all got that good recreational weed up there, huh?
I wish that was the reason I was coughing. Yeah, I'm not a weed guy. Everybody that I hang out with, obviously in the comedy world, everybody's either smoking weed or eating shrooms or acid or or a raging alcoholic. And I'm none of that. I used to, be a pretty bad drunk. Now I very seldom do I even drink anymore. I've already turned into the old guy. I tried weed 100 times just to make sure I wasn't doing it wrong. But it just never worked out. I'm just not good at it. It's legal, and I'm still worried that the cops are coming.
Right.
that paranoia, huh?
Yeah. It's so bad. It's so bad. I'm not good at it at all. I'm all for it. I think everybody, obviously, it should have been legalized. Should have never been illegal, really. So I'm all for it being legalized. It's just not my cup of tea. I can't. And I tried an edible twice, and both times that was a freaking disaster. Oh my God, that shit hits you all. You wait 45 minutes and you're like, oh, I guess it just didn't affect me. And then the next thing you know, you're like, I just want to go to bed. I don't want to be here.
Yeah,
I'm not good at it.
I've felt the same way in the past whenever I would eat edible. I'm a fucking lightweight bitch any fucking way. I was like you said, I felt like I was never any good at smoking weed just because it would just like consume me. So like early on in the years of starting like doing this podcast with Joe, I just ultimately had to like just stop smoking before and during the show just because I didn't know how to fucking function, man. My brain would not even activate.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm now, I've gotten into shrooms a little bit. Like, I'll eat some shrooms, but I'm not a social person with it. Like, I'd rather eat a handful of shrooms and then just go sit in my front yard.
Hell yeah, dude. I fuck with that.
Listen to the wind in the trees and watch the grass grow.
That's right.
Other people start coming around and start talking, and you're just like, oh, you're just ruining this for me. I wish you would just go away.
I'm pretty much the same fucking way, man.
So, Matt,
but I do enjoy shrooms.
no, it's always fun.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big advocate myself.
Yeah.
So, Matt, what's your favorite thing about doing stand-up comedy?
Really, the traveling and people. It's a pretty awesome thing. I mean, the idea of it is you're trying to elicit an involuntary emotion from a room full of people. You know, you would think that everybody goes to a comedy club to laugh and have a good time. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It's kind of like people who watch NASCAR. You're like, oh, they watch NASCAR because they want to see skilled drivers and healthy competition. No, they're watching because they want to see a wreck. You know, they want to see how many times they can flip a car. Which comedy, the same thing. I mean, there's a huge percentage of people that go to a comedy show because they want to watch somebody just eat shit.
Because you're so vulnerable up there, you know. Anyway, you're putting yourself up there, and you know you're, you know, like it's a very vulnerable state, you know.
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart for sure. And I've watched people deal with bad sets or tough situations in a multitude of ways. I mean, I've seen people just rise above it and able to turn a whole room around and make the best out of a really weird situation. But then I've also seen people who just completely melt and crumble under the pressure. And when they get off stage, they're like, all right, that's that. I'm never doing that shit again.
But that's what you have to work through the swings and the emotions of, you know, that's the whole point of working out a bit, you know, right?
Yeah. So I would, this is the bombing on stage, and I've been very, very fortunate that I don't have a lot of bombing stories. But even for me, even like if a set doesn't just go great, it eats me up. But to me, it's the same as when you were in second grade and you're working on your multiplication tables and they want you to come to the front of the classroom and do your multiplication tables on the board in front of the rest of the class, and you get stuck on one and you can't figure it out. And now you've got the pressure of your teacher staring at you, wanting you to get it done. Now she knows that you haven't been studying, so you're eating shit. And an entire room full of people that you think, you know, in second grade, these are the most important people in the world right now.
Yeah, but fuck those kids.
And
those
they're all
kids
just,
suck.
yeah, but they're all just staring at you and judging you. And there's nothing you can do. You're just frozen in that moment. And you just have to sit there uncomfortably until finally your teacher shows you mercy and goes, the answer's 8. 2 times 4 is 8. You fucking retard. Now write the 8 down and get it and go sit back down. But that's what it is. That extreme uncomfortable, and there's nowhere to go. Like, you can't just run off the stage because shit's bad. I mean, you can, but you can never walk back up there again after you do that. You know, so yeah, bombing is the worst and most uncomfortable feeling that you can have. Have you ever seen a woman and asked her when she was due, and then she informed you that she wasn't pregnant?
Oh, I try to just like
That-
mitigate that. and
that's
not-
bombing.
Yeah.
That look that one woman is giving back to you.
You
That's
piece
what's
of
bombing
shit.
on stage. Yeah, you are the worst human being ever to walk the fucking. And you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I fumbled that one. You know, it's my bad. But then I've met other people who just eat that shit up. Like they're 100% okay with a room full of people hating their gut. And it's just like, I don't know.
because like maybe the material is too crass, or what would be a good example of that? Maybe is it just because
Yeah,
their
so-
material was garbage, or they were too crude, or what?
The people who like the ones who are just comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Usually those are the comics that are doing like the shock material, the Anthony Jeselnik's,
Yeah,
the guys that say the most ugly and uncomfortable things in the world anyway. Like they're going up there with that expectation of people not knowing if they're going to like them or not.
Right. Just
So those guys are
darkest
usually-
fucking humor.
Yeah. Like abortion jokes. And they're like, well, they're either going to love it or they're going to fucking hate me. And I'm okay either way.
Right.
Those guys, which they're a different animal. I don't have that gear. I go up and I want everybody to have a good time. I want all my material is relatable. I'm just an everyday guy. We've all done that 1 foot butt clinch where you're on your way home and you got to take a shit. So you're just pressing into the floorboard as hard as you can, with your back in the seat. That's a situation we've all been in.
Right.
So that's like a little piece of material, or the feeling you get when the cops pull up behind you and the emotions that you go through with that. Everybody's been through that. Or the one time you've had a toilet seat shift on you just about a half an inch, and the fear that puts through your whole body.
Yeah.
Everybody's experienced that. So, and I talk a lot about being a dad and being married, and then just bad decisions I've made in my life. So, most of my stuff is relatable, and people can go on the journey with me because they're like, oh yeah, I've definitely done that before too. Whereas then you've got those other guys who are like, I don't give a shit if these people even remember my name when this is over. I just want them to not be able to sleep very well tonight. I'm like, I don't get that at all.
Right. And I know there's like, like you were explaining the different types of comics. There's like the dark humors, and then there's like the punchline one-offs, and then there's like the relatable humor. And before the episode, I was talking to Joe. I was like, man, like this guy, you seem like, good old country boy. And I'm like, man, I can fuck with that because like your material that I was watching on YouTube and on Instagram, I'm like, this is he's literally just talking about, this is all true shit. You know what I'm saying? And like,
yeah.
I love it whenever a comic goes up there and they're basically, you're going to rag on yourself before someone else can rag on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's so much easier to tell a joke when it's a true story.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna punch it up a little bit. I'm gonna, ham it up and make the story a little bit bigger, but they're all true stories.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, I was there when this incident happened, but I had to take the story and change who the characters were in it so that I could make it more relatable to me, in order to make the story. But I don't think I've ever talked about anything on stage that's not something I've directly been affected by or been a part of.
What about
and
that?
It just makes the story easier to tell.
What about that? So you talked about your first time up and you did an hour. So how much of that was already like material you had? How much was improv and how much was crowd work?
The first time I went on stage, it was not good by any means. I mean, it was the same thing. It was like, just true stories, but I just sat down in my preparation going into, I had no idea how to put together a set or any of those things. So I was just like, hey, here's a funny story about one time when I got arrested, and here's all the things I can talk about that came with that. I can talk about this, the day that my daughter was born and all the emotions that happened because her mom and I weren't together when she was born. So it was me holding her hand on one side of the bed and all of her family on the other side of the bed just staring at me.
Y'all belong in church.
Yeah. So I wrote down a list of stories to tell, and then I just went up there and told the stories, with no good structure to them.
Right.
So that's what I did. I did wind up doing a little bit of crowd work during that first show, not intentionally, but it just so happened there was a guy sat front row that I knew who he was because he's kind of like a local celebrity. He's a guy, the movie Lonesome Dove.
Yeah.
He was in that movie, and I knew kind of some insight about it because where I live, it's very native. There's a lot of Native Americans,
right?
And Comanches and Kiowas are the two biggest tribes here where I'm right in the area where I'm at. And in the movie, he played a Kiowa Indian, but in real life, he's a Comanche Indian. And in the movie, he spoke in Native, but I know because these are the people I grew up with, he spoke in Comanche. And
but the white man don't know the difference.
Right. So to everybody else, nobody gives a shit about that. Right. But it was something I knew, and it just came to me in the moment. So I kind of called him out and talked about it for a little bit, and that was my first experience with crowd work. And I haven't done a whole lot of crowd work since then because I'm not good at it.
Well, I felt like the clips you have on your Instagram. I was watching earlier today and stuff because Joe dropped this bomb on me and I was doing my homework fucking last minute. And so me trying to be a fucking half-ass professional, I'm like, all right, I got to get to know this fucking guy. Well, like I watched one of your you were up there, you were introducing one of your friends and he came up on stage and then you went by like, look, these people did this guy, like, they fucked in the driveway. Yeah. And then you named out everybody you had talked to. And I'm just like, holy shit, he remembers everything that, and it was a good segment because it was just like nonstop firing back. And I was just like, yeah. That was good shit. I like that.
That was a perfect storm. That was, I had not planned on doing that. But it was a crowd work show. So like everybody was supposed to be going up and trying to do some crowd work. So I had just gone through the room of, reaching like each person it's a small room. This, Comedy Avenue, which is now in Lawton. A friend of mine, Andrew Patterson, he put together this comedy club. It's awesome. Seats about 45 people. So it's not real big. But it's an awesome spot for us to go and work. So I had just gone through the room, person by person, getting their story to see if there was anything I could riff on. And by the time I made it all the way through and back around, it was about time for me to bring up the next guy. And the idea was that when you bring up the next guy, y'all spend a few minutes on stage together, and then you kind of excuse yourself and let that person take over. So when he came up, I could tell that he was a little apprehensive to take over. So I was just like, all right, let me give you a rundown of what we've got going. And I was able to just go through and call him off. And it was a lot of fun, and we went through it. And as soon as I got done with it, I was like, damn, that was pretty cool.
Hell yeah,
and then I get off stage and I make it to the green room, and there's like 6 other comics in the green room there. And as soon as I walk in, they're all just looking at me, and I was like, what's up? I said, that was a lot of fun. And they're like, bro, that was fucking awesome. Like, you just did a complete rundown of an entire audience.
Damn right, dude.
And I was like, yeah, it was pretty cool. So it was just a perfect storm. It worked out. I wish that was something that I could do every time I go on stage. But it's certainly not a muscle that I work out very often.
It's like in like nights like those, are y'all doing like 5-minute sets or like, is it depending on how many people are trying to come up? What is
Yeah.
what is the allotted time that y'all have or y'all working with?
So it depends on where you're at. So like most open mics, like if I drive up to Oklahoma City and go to Bricktown Comedy Club's open mic, everybody gets 4 minutes on stage.
Okay.
That's 4 minutes, which is why I don't even like going to regular open mics because all of my material is longer. So it's really hard for me to work out any material in 4 minutes.
So
I need more time than that to develop something.
to develop the
Which is
whole
why-
story.
Yeah. So that's why I kind of created my own place over here in Apache, which is, I can go up and I can do an hour if I want. I can do 30 if I want. I can stand up there and talk for 2 hours if I want because I've built a relationship with that audience. They're interested in the new stories that I've got, and they're invested in watching my material grow. So they've become kind of a part of it at this point. But then I started reaching out to other comics going, hey, if you guys need to work out longer set, you can come jump on this Apache thing with me. So I offered that to other comics because it is hard to go someplace that only gives you 4 minutes or 5 minutes to try to really work anything out.
And you're having to travel like a fucking hour and a half to get there,
Yeah. So I've got guys now that they've got to drive an hour and a half to come to me now. But when they get down here, if they need to work on a 10-minute set, 20, 30, an hour, I don't care. Like I've created this space for them. They can come and work out an entire hour set if they need to.
That's fucking awesome.
So
That's dope.
so that's worth it for them then. But like at Comedy Avenue, it just depends on what we're doing. Andrew, like I said, Andrew's always trying to create new stuff. We have a thing there where we've got a thing where we do Matt and Andrew shows. So we have Matt and Andrew make a podcast, which is our podcast that we're not very good at because
dude, you're not gonna be
Welcome to the club.
Listen.
Yeah,
You're not gonna fucking ever be comfortable with a fucking podcast. Dude. I don't give a fuck who you are,
dude. His schedule is so weird and hectic, and my schedule never lines up with his schedule. So whenever we do get together, we try to make our episodes 30 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, when we get together, we can record like 5 episodes at a time.
Right.
And then schedule them out. And then we're like, all right, so we've got, we've got five weeks before we have to get back together again. And the next thing you know, it's been 8 weeks, and we're like, oh shit, we've been 3 weeks without an episode being posted, and like, fuck. So that's where I get it.
Yeah, Joe and I, we kind of share like the similar type of struggle because I'm gone a month at a time. And so now what we're starting to do is once a week, because I'm home 4 weeks at a time, then gone 4 weeks on the boat. So each time, once a week, we'll do 2 slots in one day. That way we have enough material, and he's also eligible to do episodes while I'm gone by himself and other interviews. And that way we always have that backlog of material being released consecutively.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you kind of, until you get to a point where that's how you make your living, you have to find a way to work around it.
Oh, but we're not making no fucking money on this shit.
Hey, we do have 361 subscribers on YouTube. So
boy.
Fucking A.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, you can't get to 1 million until you got 361.
yes, sir.
Damn right, man. But like, it took us a while to really like find our place inside this, and then with all of our friends of friends and like the different types of artists between musicians and stand up and just just other types of just outlets, we finally for so long and so many years we were looking for like, oh, well, what is this podcast about? What type of format do we have? And then one of our buddies that's from our hometown in Central Louisiana, he lives in New Orleans, and he is part of the whole fucking circuit. He's like, look, man, you guys have been doing it, and we just are too fucking, moronic to fucking realize it. Like, oh, well, we already have, we have the wherewithal and the format. And then he starts highlighting us, like, man, you guys should like consider yourselves like, like amateur comics in a sense to where like.
Oh, you're talking about Chris True
and Charlie,
Charlie.
Charlie. And they they made us look at it as a different type of animal. I'm like, yeah, everybody, you can only be so fucking serious all the goddamn time. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, yeah,
Yeah.
we like fucking dick jokes. You know what I'm saying? We like, butthole jokes too.
We got out of
Yeah.
that, but the heavy butthole jokes.
But we're still true to ourselves in the fact that we're not serious people all the fucking time. We do get serious on the show, but most of our stuff is like there's a comedic value to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they help us realize that, and I'm so glad that they pointed it out because and Joe he started taking like the online improv classes, right?
It's Zoom classes with Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
It's
Big,
not cheap though.
big shout out Chris True, man. He is over the circuit that they have in New Orleans and stuff, and he's over Hell Yes Fest too.
Yeah,
Right?
Hell Yes Fest, and
Okay.
he does open mic in New Orleans every Monday.
Yeah, and Hell Yes Fest is
Yeah.
hosted in, is it December or
November.
November? And it's a big event, and they'll do like a in town circuit of different venues and stuff like that. And you should definitely look into that, man, and get your little run in down here.
Yeah, Chris
Yeah.
is always looking for new comedians and stuff.
Yeah,
I'll send you the link. I'll send you Chris's
Yeah.
Instagram and stuff, while you can reach
Yeah,
out and
for sure.
contact him. While you can have a different platform. I don't know if have you ever performed in New Orleans?
No, I've never done anything New Orleans. I've done like Baton Rouge. I did something. There's a little bitty ass town.
Alexandria,
No, south,
South,
way south.
Homa?
Homa.
Oh yeah, yeah,
No shit.
Oh,
I
that
did.
was weird. We got on the first try.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
yeah. It was an interesting.
That's down the bayou,
Setup.
Bo. That's you're on
Yeah,
the bayou
no
down
shit,
there.
Yeah. The club we were at, like the bayou runs right behind it, and that was my first. I was excited because I just got to sit out on the dock behind this place and feed fucking alligators marshmallows.
Was that
I
at the
was-
Boxer in the Barrel?
No, I don't remember what the name of the place was.
Yeah, if you're
Yes,
country,
man.
you'll love Louisiana.
I love it down there, dude. The food, I could live down there. I mean, just based on food alone.
Fuck yeah.
I'm a big fan of eating. But yeah, do y'all know Jeff Vance with Lunchbox Comedy?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so he's based out of Baton Rouge, and matter of fact, I'm doing. He's got the Lunchbox Comedy Festival. It's in May. This year the festival's going to be over in Biloxi. I'm headlining that festival for him. One of the shows. The day before that, though, I'm going to do a show in Hammond.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be out there for a couple days in May.
Yeah, Hammond's a
Again.
big college town. Oh, that's southeastern over there.
Yeah. So
Carry
I
light.
love it down there.
carry light.
Yeah, I love it down there, and I've enjoyed all the people that I've run into. It's one of those. Let's see, I come down there to do a couple of shows, and I come down a day early, so I just got a place. I got a hotel in Baton Rouge so that I could go hit an open mic. Really, just so I could go check out the talent and see what everybody had going on. And
You check out
I was hanging-
Tiger Stadium while you were down there?
I did not.
Hey, you're talking to the fucking enemy right here now.
you're you're a Oklahoma Sooner fan?
I'm an Oklahoma fan, so I'm a Sooner fan and a Cowboys fan. When they're playing each other, I'm pulling for the Sooners.
All right. Well,
But yeah,
we still accept you
Yeah, we let.
as a tax-paying American.
Hold up, didn't they just make Oklahoma? Didn't they just join the SEC recently?
I think so.
Yeah. And I 100% expected as soon as I said that I was a Sooners fan, I expected the phone call to just drop all of a sudden. And go, all right, well, that's the end of that interview.
No, we like you, man. You like I said, you're a good old boy in our book, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But I used to be huge sports fanatic. I mean, you couldn't catch me without numbers into my bookie at any given time. And then comedy has gotten so wild. I can't remember the last professional or college game that I've watched.
Well, you
in
ain't
the
missing
last
nothing
couple
in
of years.
college. You ain't missing nothing in professional football. The same old's going on. I gave up on the NFL.
Yeah.
The no call in New Orleans.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's still.
It's just I bought some squares off of somebody the other day for their kids fundraiser. That's the most sports related thing I've done in 2 years.
For
Did
the
you
Super
win?
Bowl?
Oh yeah, for the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's next
Yeah,
weekend, right?
I bought a
think it was
square
for
for
the
my
Super Bowl.
niece.
Wait, what'd you say, Matt?
So I think it was for the Super Bowl. I don't really fucking know, man. Like they were like, "Hey, we're doing this fundraiser for our kid." I'm like, "Yeah, here you go. Here's some money. Like, whatever. Let me know if I win."
Well, look, if you're doing that headlining, and you said Biloxi, right, in May,
Yeah.
and all right, so you got a guy in Baton Rouge. All right, we got a guy in New Orleans. I don't know anybody in Lafayette, but I know that there's a place called Club 337. It's a convention center at a hotel, but a lot of big names go through there, like Shane Gillis, Miss Pat. A bunch of people have been through there and stuff, and I know they do locals, and they host big events. And then one of our friends, he owns a brewery in Alexandria, which is about a little less than an hour north of us, and it's called Huckleberry Brewery. They started hosting guys doing circuit runs too. So maybe it could be an opening if you have a couple days before your set in Mississippi or something. You could just check out the availability there and stuff. But definitely, we're gonna hook you up with Chris True because he's got his hands all over the New Orleans circuit and stuff.
And we know how hard it is to network, and we appreciate you taking time out your evening to be a part of the show too.
Fuck yeah,
it
man!
means
Yeah,
the world
man.
to us. And we will. We know a few people, and we'll send them your way because that's what it's all about. That's how you get out there networking. And that's the hardest thing to do because you get denied a lot, but as long as you keep pushing, good things that come from it. Just like this sit down right now. It was just a simple question. Would you like to be a part of the podcast?
Yeah, and and as soon as y'all get it posted or it goes live or whatever, like I'll be sharing the shit out of it. I'll share the post. I don't know where all y'all post at.
Everywhere, man.
Everywhere. We'll have posts on YouTube, then we'll have videos released, and then we have the whole YouTube release, and then we have a website, www.thirdcoastpodcast.com, with all of our stuff on it too. So it's going to be out there all over the place.
Yeah, it's Spotify, iHeartRadio,
XM
Radio, Apple,
Pandora.
God dang.
Fucking
Hell yeah.
like the latest development for us is the actual video content on YouTube because that's such a big fucking thing now. Like people want to see it.
Yeah.
And at the same time we live, all I ever known of Oklahoma is that it's rural as fuck, and where we live is super rural as fuck as well. So like, you talk to people about podcasts, like, what the fuck's a podcast? I'm like, it's like fucking radio, but it's not radio,
Yeah.
And so at the same time, like, oh, you got YouTube, but yeah, we fucking got YouTube. You fucking so
Yeah.
it's something
Yeah.
we're slowly working on. Joe, he makes a lot of the shorts and. For YouTube and Instagram and stuff, but that's what people want nowadays is like that visual relation content, and not just fucking audio.
I'm guilty of that too. I travel, on the road every weekend, and that's drives my wife and kids crazy. But I spend a lot of time just driving in silence. Like I don't turn on the radio. I won't turn on nothing. Like I'll just drive in silence.
Same shit, man. I do the
But it's
same
when I get the
fucking
most
thing.
thinking done.
Damn right, dude. Damn right.
But when I do watch something, like I'll put on a podcast, I want it to be a video, and I'll prop my phone. I'll prop my phone up on the dash, and obviously I don't watch the whole thing from start to finish, but I like being able to glance down and see what they've got going on.
Right. Yeah. Whenever we fell into the whole podcast world and stuff, like I was mostly big into like just comedian podcasts, like big name comedian podcasts, and
Yeah.
having that visual effect, like just watching them, it makes them, definitely more stupider, you know what I'm saying? Like it brings
Yeah, yeah.
it brings it all to fruition than rather just just listening, from like the Skanks podcast to like Theo and Rogan and all them, the Bill Burr and all that stuff. Like it really pays to just to watch them in their raw form be themselves, because like that is, that's where you get to see them, and that's where it pays off a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah, and I would say that especially with somebody like Theo Vaughn, his popularity blew up from him being on podcasts.
Yeah, that boy. Hey, that's a different
because
breed
people,
of killer, cuz.
Yeah, because people got to know how quirky he was and how weird he was in just regular conversation. So then they started reaching out and looking for him and trying to find more of him. So that's where he blew up. And then I've never seen him live.
Oh, it's fucking it's ridiculous.
I've got a buddy of mine that said that he's in the top 3 best live comedy shows that he's ever seen.
Yeah, I can agree with that 100%. I got to see, because he just did a little run. He did a little South run. He played Lafayette, and then he went to like Beaumont, Texas. And
yeah,
and I was trying to go to it because I hadn't seen him in a couple of years, but he was like the second big show I've been to. The first one was Bill Burr, and Theo always talks about that, like, I don't know, he never let up. It was back and forth. It just, because his podcast is different than his stand up. His fucking stand up, dude, is relentless. It is you can't even fathom it. It's intense as fuck. But one of the best fucking shows I have seen. Let me go ahead and ask you the cliche question here. Who are your biggest influences in comedy, old and new?
Man, I would say, okay, so these are my top.
Maybe not influence, but who are your favorites? Both. Influence and or favorite.
These are my top 4 of all time guys. Robin Williams.
Fuck yeah.
Don Rickles.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Goddamn, I'm drawing a blank. George Carlin.
Fuck yeah, George. Dude, I actually just got one of his records from Allie's mom. Straight up, dude.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And then Richard Pryor.
Dude, I was about to say, dude, the Kings of Comedy was like a staple in my fucking childhood.
Yeah. So those are my top 4, and I would not consider myself to be anything at all like any of them. But they're the ones. Those 4 guys are the reason that I fell in love with comedy. The person who I'm probably, this is what I get the most when people compare me to someone, would be like Rodney Carrington.
Rodney go hard, dude.
Yeah. So, but like as far as like my favorites, dude, like there's so many good comics right now. I mean, obviously Shane Gillis is probably the best comedian going right now. He's the hottest thing going.
Yeah, he's fucking blowing the fuck up, dude. He has been blowing the fuck up.
Yeah.
I
but then on top of
go ahead.
On top of that, you got guys, Louis C.K.
Yeah,
is an absolute killer. Mark Norman is a killer.
But Mark Norman,
Bert Kreischer is the hardest working comedian in the business.
Mark Norman, he's built different. You know what I'm saying? Like he's
he's autistic as fuck.
Yeah, that's how he's super. Built. He's super, but he's so good with like the one-offs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because that's the way his brain operates. That's why he's so like. If you ever watch interviews, like you can look up an interview it's just like on YouTube, look up interview with Mark Norman about joke writing. And there's one, I can't remember whose deal it is, but it's him on, and he has just wads of paper in his pocket. And he just pulls it out, and he's like, "Oh, here's one," and he's got to read it sideways because he's written 9 things on one piece of paper, and
Who does he
it's
do
just a
his
wad of shit.
podcast with? Joe. Is his name Joe?
Oh, he's got one with Joe List, and
Joe
then he's
List.
got
I fucking love Joe List, dude.
and then he's got We Might Be Drunk with Sam Morril.
I fucking love that guy too. Sam, he's a different breed too, boy. That guy, he's out his shit, man. But
Sam Morril is a fantastic joke writer, but I just can't get into him just because he's so monotone.
Yeah,
he sounds like the Dry Eyes guy when he's doing comedy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he's just all one tone. There's no excitement or pitches or valleys or nothing. It's just like, oh fuck, dude, this guy's gonna put me to sleep no matter how funny it is.
I always
but
thought
but his jokes are great.
I always thought that like clean comedy is like one of the hardest form of comedy, because like I remember like growing up, because like my family's background, you know, they're fucking God-fearing Christians, you know, and I grew up listening to a lot of Andy Griffith stand up and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it's hilarious.
I'll bet y'all listen to some Jerry Clower too, didn't you?
Dude, it was, there's something about it. I'm just like, my brain is so warped that and so infected with like this disease of just fuckery. But like growing up as a kid, I go back and listen to it. I'm just like, this is gold. Or even like old school like Jeff Foxworthy. Jeff Foxworthy had like it was riding a line a lot of the times. You know what I'm saying? And that was like the realm that I grew up with. You know, but like clean comedy, that's a different realm in its own right. You know? Yeah,
and right now you got like. You got Nate Bargatze and Dusty Slay. Both those guys are squeaky clean. And Nate Bargatze is one of the biggest names in comedy right now. You know, my wife's he's coming to a casino not too far from us, so she's gonna look and see if she could get tickets before I got a show booked, because she really likes him, and it was like $230 a ticket.
Oh wow, goodness gracious!
And I'm like, oh yeah, you can go fuck you. I won't pay $230 to watch fucking Michael Jackson perform live, and that cocksucker's dead. Fuck that. I'll never pay that much money to fucking watch. That's stupid.
But isn't Rodney Carrington, isn't he just doing but he's primarily what's it called, a residency now, and his ticket sales are like that too, aren't they?
Rodney?
Yeah.
I don't know. He came through towards the end of last year. He did a show in Lawton, at that place where I talked about. I did my first show, the place that seats 1,500.
Mm-hmm.
He came through and did a show there towards the end of last year. So I know he's still doing some touring. He might have a steady residency somewhere, and then on his off weeks, he'll try to pick up something someplace else or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I heard that or something, but I think like the most I had paid for a ticket. It was about like $80, and it was Bill Burr right when Paper Tiger had came out, and I think and it was well worth it. You know, everybody, they had like the cell phone fucking condoms that were locked up and shit. You know, and that was in Austin, and that was that was like 6 years ago, way before like the Rogan and the other fucking West Coast guys came this way and stuff.
Yeah.
That brings up a good question, Cobot. So, Matt, when you're performing your comedy live, do you get upset if someone records your set outside of like saying like you have people there to record your set? Say someone pulls up a phone and starts recording you. Do you get upset about that, or you cool with it? Because I know some people, some places are different. You can't. When we was at Hell Yes Fest in New Orleans, me and Cleve was in the comedy club, and I'm thinking, because we go to all the music, do all the music stuff, I always record and make clips and shit.
Yeah.
But they had a specific thing not to use cell phones during the comedy set. Like on silent, don't use. They said they'd kick you out. They caught you recording.
Because everybody's fucking fake, man. They trying to steal your shit.
Well, and that's the big thing with a lot of those, with a lot of the big name guys. they don't want you recording it and putting it out there because the point of the tour is you're building your set to get ready for your special.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they don't want people recording it and putting it out there because now that joke's been heard before the special comes out.
And they're still working.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they're still working it out.
So, yeah, and I'm not big enough for that to play a factor with me yet. You know, but I would rather people. I encourage people to take pictures. Like, hey, pull your. I don't give a shit in the middle of the show. Flashes don't bother me. Take pictures, but when you post them, tag me in it.
Right.
That's my big deal. I'm still trying to grow a fan base. So if you're going to post something about me, tag me in it. That way I can get some, try to grow a little bit off of it. But yeah, I don't want, I did see I'm trying to think where I was at. I just did a one-off show in Chickasha, Oklahoma not so long ago. And, I was about midway through my set and I realized that there were 3 people at one table and they all had their cell phones up recording my set. Which, like I said, I'm not big enough for that to really be that big of a problem for me yet. So I didn't say anything, but I do think I am getting towards I'm getting to the point now where I probably do need to start being cautious of that because I am looking at doing a live recording this year. Not that I think my shit's going to get put out there on the internet and then my air quotes special that's going to get released on YouTube is going to be ruined for anybody. But it's just a good habit to start getting into. Like, hey, don't video the show, but we do encourage you to take pictures. Whatever you post, please tag us.
Right, just to keep it original and keep it, that is yours, and it's a respect thing too.
Yeah. So here's a issue that I had. I had one of my closing, or one of the jokes that I used as a closer for quite a while, and I've got video of it for how long ago I had done it the first time. My son came to me one day and he said, "Hey, Dad," he said, Andrew Schultz has got a joke just like yours.
I love Schultzy, man.
And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "What joke is it?" And he told me which joke it was. And I was like, "Son of a bitch. It's like my best closer." So, my son looked it up on YouTube, sent it to me, and I watched it, and it is so close. And I'm certainly not accusing Andrew Schultz of stealing my joke. I do know that, like I said, I've got recordings of me doing this joke 2 years before I knew who Andrew Schultz was.
Right.
Before he had blown up and became who he is. But the way I looked at it is now he is bigger than me, so it doesn't matter who had the joke first. He's got it. He's bigger than me. It automatically makes it his joke. So I took that joke off the set list and I just don't do it anymore.
That's
because,
tough.
Yeah, and it sucks, but you got to go with the Jay Leno mentality, which, people used to go to Jay Leno all the time. They're like, "Hey man, so-and-so, we heard him, doing your joke." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And doesn't that piss you off? And he goes, "Well, I mean, I wish people wouldn't steal my jokes, but what are you going to do about it?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, what are you going to do?" And Jay Leno's response was, "I'll write more jokes."
Exactly. Yeah. There's a couple of things that I've been saying since I was a teenager, in reference as like joking about ginger and like the letters corresponding with ginger. You can rearrange them and it spells a really terrible word, and
yeah.
And that joke came out a couple of years ago from I heard it from like South Park and then like a doper, it's just one of the, sometimes whenever something is funny, there is a reiteration of it somewhere because someone else thinks it's funny as well. And,
it was an easy premise.
Yeah.
And then, it was easy to find. Like the joke that I had with Schultz was, it was about the request that women make, during sex and how it's unfair, the request that they make compared to the request that we make.
Oh, is it like,
so
please stop? Or...
yeah. So it's an easy premise. It happens. But I just had to have the wherewithal to go, okay, here's the way the world works. He's bigger than me. It's automatically his joke.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
that
And
also
that's
that
the
pushes
way-
you to
that's
come
the
out
way-
with like some new shit though.
Yeah. But that's also the mentality that you know, that Mencia had, which was, you know, I told the joke better than you, so now it's my joke.
Yeah, but that's you know, that's where, you know, everybody went after that motherfucker for.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% I disagree with his mentality, but that's the way he thought. He was like, hey, whoever tells the joke best, it's theirs. I was like, no. Like, whoever wrote the joke, it's theirs. And then, you know, if they don't know, if they can't do it properly, then that's just burnt material. You can't just swoop in and take somebody else's shit and go, oh, I can do it better than you. You know, I know people that sell jokes though. Like they'll try a joke a couple of times. They're like, man, I just can't figure it out. I don't know what to do with it. And somebody will go, hey, I'll give you $50 for that joke. And they'll sell it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they'll sell them. Just sell it for $50, and then that person takes it, and you know they'll restructure the whole thing, and now it's a banger, and both people are happy. The guy's happy because he got $50 for a joke that he wasn't any good with, but he also gets to see his joke, his premise, done well.
Right.
So it's good for everybody.
How do you feel
the
about
whole selling jokes thing?
How do you feel about Tony Hinchcliffe's Kill Tony?
It's not my cup of tea.
Not your cup of tea?
Not at all. I think that it's a very entertaining show. I don't think it's the best version of comedy. I don't think it's the best way to find a new comedian. One minute is nothing. One minute is how long it takes me to get
to set up and stuff sometimes.
That's how long it takes for me to get the bar stool where I want it, my water set down, and the microphone taken off the stand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would never do it. I don't find any interest in it. Also, like I said, my jokes are longer form, so 1 minute just wouldn't do me any justice.
Yeah.
But I do at the same time. I think that we eventually got to, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion, so buckle up if you were looking for somebody to hate on the show.
They hate us enough.
I think that at some point in time, Tony Hinchcliffe and Joe Rogan got together and they said, hey, let's see who we can make blow up.
Yeah.
Let's just see who we can make blow up. Because if you look at the people that they've had blow up, first of all, Hans Kim, I have yet to hear Hans Kim say a goddamn thing that's funny.
Yeah, I'm not a. I don't know. He goes off with like a lot of these guys, and he opens up for them and stuff like that. But when he enters the show and stuff, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not his demographic.
And then,
you know,
you got Cam Patterson. Cam Patterson.
I don't get it. I don't get it either, man. I mean, so I've laughed
He
a
had
couple
one
times.
funny joke.
Yeah, I've laughed a couple
he's like,
times.
I like rocks.
Yeah.
But I've watched his 45-minute stand-up, and it is insane. It's just a person seeing how many times they can say the N-word while on stage. And I'm just like, you're not smart enough to write anything. You're the funny guy at the barbecue. That doesn't make you a good stand-up comedian. That's the problem with a lot of those guys is for 1 minute, they can be very, very funny. Now, can they be funny for 10 minutes? Can they be funny? And the problem is these guys, they blow up on Kill Tony. So now they'll be able to sell tickets because people know who they are from Kill Tony.
Right.
So now they'll get booked at some small club in Kansas City. So Kansas City books them. All these people pay to come watch this person that they saw who was hilarious for 1 minute on Kill Tony. And now they're headlining their own club show. So they've got to do a minimum of 30 minutes and they're not fucking funny.
Yeah, I feel like less than half of the ones that have blown up are like, they are gonna go places and stuff, and that's just me outside looking in. I'm part of the audience. Um, a lot of the, but I don't know. Like I agree with you. It's just like a lot of the comedians, they're not really that fucking funny, man.
Yeah. So like I said, I think it's an entertaining show. I think that it's still weird to me that it's classified as a podcast. Um, but it is. And I think that it shined a big light on comedy. So that's a good thing. That helped, but it also lowered the it's the TikTok of comedy. It's for people whose attention span is only 1 minute.
See, what when you were explaining that, that's what I was thinking the whole time, because that's what TikTok is. It's real short clips, and they get the
Yeah.
comedians, so they're able to produce a whole bunch of shorts of all these different people, doing 1 minute 30 seconds, and they can mass produce that out there for the video audience.
I
Yeah.
do. I do like the there. It's kind of like double edged for me. I do like the naturals that go up there, like the randos that sign up that never done it before, and they just show out, and then they do like the interview afterwards as well. And then like it's a great interview just because they're just being natural. But then you have like people who, if you're trying to be funny, ultimately you're not funny, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like sometimes there are those people who just like ultimately shine just from being genuine as fuck, and they're not pretentious. They're not trying to be something that they're fucking not. And that's what I've watched the show for years, man, and that's what I've got out of it. Now, like, there's been a lot of people I've tried to turn on to the show, and they're like, "Oh no, well, the people who run it, it seems like they're a bunch of fucking dicks," and I understand that as well. They do seem like dicks, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't know, it's half and half for me.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, it is entertaining. I just, to me, it's not the best way to consume comedy. But like what you're saying, and like what I had said before, there's a big difference in the guy that's the funniest guy at the barbecue,
Right.
and being able, that does not always translate to stage, which is the same thing as the people who blow up on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. They're hilarious at what they do on social media.
But they can't
Now,
perform.
Yeah, and it's wild that, and unfortunately, that's the way that a lot of clubs book now. Like, I can't tell you how many comedy clubs have reached back out to me, and they're like, "Hey, what's your Instagram handle and your TikTok, so we can see how many followers you have."
Oh, fuck that, and fuck them.
They're not. They're not going, "Hey, so we can check out your material, or so that we can see some of your jokes." It's we need to see how many followers you have.
Yeah, but what kind of
Because
what kind of credentials
that's
are
what they
those
put.
anyway? That shit's fucking. You can like go fucking follow somebody, get them to follow you back, then unfollow them, and then it makes it look like you have a bunch of followers and you're following nobody.
And you can pay
Yeah.
for followers too.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
do
like,
that.
What type of like cred is there within that?
That's all they're looking at is, oh, this guy's got, if he's got 50,000 followers on a social media, that ups his chances of being able to sell tickets at our club.
Nah, fuck that, man. We just had a fucking R&B
yeah.
artist fucking get fucking
bro-
country fucking record of the year, and she don't even make fucking country music. Anyway, I digress. That's a sore subject. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, hey, my problem with that is I can't tell you the last time I heard a country song come out on country radio.
Yeah, you damn right. That shit fucking.
It's pop country now.
Yeah, I was about to say something I can't say on there, man.
Yeah.
You got him
Yeah,
with
You're fucking
dinosaur.
pulling it out of me, yeah, man.
Yeah.
But Matt, I don't want to cut you out, man. But we gotta end this, dude. I would love for you to fucking call in the future, dude, just to catch up with you and see what you got going on and stuff, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. I tell you what, like I said, I'm gonna be in Hammond on the 23rd of May, and then I'll be in Biloxi on the 24th. But I might, if y'all will send me the information for that
Dude,
that
I'll be
brewery
home
that's
the
close to y'all,
23rd of
if I
May.
can set up a Thursday night show for that brewery that y'all were talking about, I can come and do that and come in and just do a live podcast with you guys. That would be great too, just while I'm in y'all's party.
That would be dope having you in person
All right,
on the show.
All right, so I'm home pretty much the entire month of May. You said that,
Hell
that
yeah.
Thursday before, that'll be, so you're going to be in Hammond the 23rd, so the 22nd, yeah, dude, let me, because a couple of the guys I used to play music with actually bartend there, and I know the owner, so I'll see what they have on their fucking docket, dude, and I'll get back to you about that, because that'd be fucking fantastic, because we actually, like I said, we're like fucking 35 minutes from Alexandria, where that brewery is, and Hammond is on the other side of Baton Rouge, so that's about 2.5 hours from us.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like in the middle there, and so maybe we can work some shit out, man.
We did
For sure.
we did 4 interviews at that brewery too. So
Okay. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Awesome.
We can make
awesome,
something happen
man.
for sure.
All right. Well, do you have what do you have booked coming up like real soon though? But besides the May shows.
Man, I'll just get like a rundown of February real quick.
Okay.
This coming weekend on the 7th, I'll be at the Royal Cinema in Joplin, Missouri. On the 8th, I'll be at King Opera House in Van Buren, Arkansas. On Valentine's Day, I'll be down in Nacogdoches, Texas at Yellow Rose. On the 15th, I'll be at the Ritz Theater in Shawnee, Oklahoma. And on the 22nd, I'll be in Norman, Oklahoma doing Resi Jams. And then on the 23rd, I'll be at the Looney Bin in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Damn, bro, that's a busy fucking schedule for the month, man.
Yeah.
My birthday's
we're
the
trying
14th,
to
so
make it
think
happen.
about me, all right? My birthday's on Valentine's Day, so think about me.
Hell yeah. I can't tell you anything I would rather think about on Valentine's Day than you.
Then this ginger freckled fucking dick, dude. That's what I'm talking about.
why'd you have to throw your penis in there?
Because it's relevant, all right?
How's that even relevant?
I don't know, but it is, man. We're fucking hanging out. We got a bro here, dude. All right, Matt.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
one last thing we always ask our guests is to say a little words of wisdom, and we close it out with that.
Man, here's my words of wisdom. If you're wanting to grow in any form of the entertainment business, get out of your hometown. You got to get out on the road. You got to go make fans. You got to get in front of people that have never seen you before. You can't keep doing it at the local bars and clubs. Those people are only going to come out and support you for so long. So get out of town and go find new fans.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's
excellent words of wisdom, Matt.
That's perfect, man. That hits home.
Hell yeah.
Well, brother, dude, thank you so much, man. And please, we're in the future. Like I said, I'm gonna keep in touch with you. We're gonna try to plan some shit to get you in Alexandria before your show in Hammond, and then and after Hammond, you're going to Biloxi, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, and that's all in May. Everybody, this is Matt Ferrell, dude, and brother, again, thank you so much, dude. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
Fuck yeah, man.
All right, brother.
All right, take care, man.
Have a good one, bro.
You too, guys.
All right, bye. We could have kept talking to that motherfucker.
Oh yeah, we fucking the ball has
that's
been
a-
rolled.
That's a
and
fucking
been rolled
fucking
a lot.
bro and a half. You know what I'm saying? That's why we do this shit, man. That's a fucking ease of access right there.
And battling through the mosquitoes.
Fucking
They have
there's
ate
been
my
fucking
ass.
50 mosquitoes in this motherfucker this
Dude,
whole
I
fucking
got
time.
I got bites all over my fucking arms.
And the door, we gotta clog a hole. We gotta fucking we're gonna put up a Bobby Boucher fucking electric lantern right here.
I'm telling you one thing though, these motherfuckers are happy though. They're full of cholesterol
And beer.
and beer.
And nicotine. Hell yeah, man.
But
fucking shout out Matt, dude. Matt Ferrell, dude. Out of I forgot what city he said he's from originally in Oklahoma, dude, but that's a first.
yeah,
That's a fucking first.
I think that's the first comedian and / person we ever had on the show from Oklahoma.
Yep.
Oregon 1 week, Oklahoma the next.
Come on with it. Come on. Well, she was been living in New Orleans
Yeah.
for like 13 years.
But still.
But she ain't one of us. Well,
You're
she's
so
one of us now. She's got enough rice. Well, yeah, she eats rice. Yeah, she's got enough rice in her. Yeah. But yeah, man, like everybody follow Matt. I forgot the fucking look. I'll pull up his handles real quick. Go follow him on Instagram. It's Matt Ferrell together. MattJFerrell.
And on Facebook, he's just Matt Ferrell.
Well, on Facebook, he's Fat Merrill. That's what his Facebook link says is Fat Merrill.
Yeah, it's Matt Ferrell on Facebook.
Yeah.
I know for sure. He has a typo there. We found a typo, Matt.
Hey, I don't know. It seems that's pretty fucking funny. He's fucking funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is episode 242. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck
We're
yeah.
going to get some mosquito fucking spray, and we're going to be back.
Goddamn right. Love y'all.
Third Coast Podcast, I'm Joe. What it do, Gators?
And I'm Kobe. Y'all already know all the fucking A-listers I got.